Welcome back. Born in Connecticut to Jamaican parents, she moved to Jamaica in 2006 and soon became one of the most popular voices on local radio as an announcer on Zip 103. Then in 2009, after being suspended from Zip, left the island to pursue other ventures back home in the US. Her love affair with Jamaica, though, would soon pull her back to the island. And in 2015, she made a triumphant return to Jamaican radio. Her parents named her Nicole Duhaney. You know her as Nikki Z, who joins us right now, right here on our stage with, believe it or not, breaking news about her next step, career-wise. Wow, I wonder what that is. Nikki Z, it's so good to have you finally on our set.
My palms are so sweaty. It is weird.
Oh yeah, it's been a while, Nikki, that we've been after each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And we finally are together.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the big news?
Well, the big news is that I'm now going to be taking over as Vice President of Clients and Content for Hapelos Distribution.
Wow.
So, they called me up last week and they made me this offer, and it really came out of nowhere. I have done work with Hapelos years ago. We did a couple of shows together, and he also used to just talk to me about the business because at that time, he was still new to it. So everything he was learning was being learned by someone else. So he was also just asking me little things here and there. Mm-hmm. So to see this message that they wanted to have a discussion, at first I was just thinking, well, maybe they just want me to be a part of the company, but they actually offered me the vice president position right off the rip.
So this is an executive position.
It's with company car and driver and everything.
Oh wow! So did you have credentials in working as a record executive before?
In the aspect of formal experience, no. But in the aspect of being a part of the business, I have purposely thrown myself into learning as much as possible. So a lot of times there have been artists and producers alike who come to me for advice, and I help them in that capacity, but not as a legitimate job. So I think this is what they saw me do throughout the years, and they were like, okay, she can do this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you seem very excited about this.
I'm beyond excited. I haven't been able to sleep. Ever since they made the offer, it's like my brain is like, oh, no more sleep for you. And it's not a bad thing. It's like, it's a good thing. Because before, I have so much extra time, I'm like, oh, just go back to sleep, you know? And now I'm like, I'm awake and I'm ready.
Okay, so talk a little bit more about the job description. What exactly will be your...
Well, basically, my job is to scout good music and find songs for us to distribute and figure out which songs, you know, really have that extra oomph. So maybe we might need to look into doing videos or even extra marketing. It's also to start trying to devise marketing plans for the songs that we already are putting out there. You know, we definitely want to increase the marketing that's being done on the songs, not just distribute them, but market them as well. Give them the little extra oomph that they need. You know, so my job is to make sure these things get done.
Okay, and so you'll be based where?
I'll be based here.
You'll be here in Jamaica?
I'll be here. I'm not leaving.
Okay, so but isn't it an a US-based company?
No. They have offices in New York, yes, but also they have an office here as well, fully staffed.
Okay. So where does that leave radio?
Radio is my love. And to be honest, things started getting to a place where I was starting to get worried. Because, you know, when I moved back here, yes, I moved back here to do radio, but that wasn't my only intention. It's just that I had this energy that I felt I needed to be back here to do the work, period. Radio is my love, so it's something I'm always gonna do, but to have it in your mind that this is how you make money, this is how you have to hustle every day. It's not a job that you get a huge paycheck from. So I constantly have to be on my guard, on my hustle to make sure I'm getting the bookings, make sure my face stays out there. So it's a lot of hustling for stuff that is not guaranteed. So, you know, I'm getting older. So I'm thinking, how many more years do I have to be in the heavy party scene, to be a part of that community, to really be able to affect the job the way I'm doing it right? And if I have to move to a more adult station, then I have to build a whole new fan base and start over again. So, you know, I found peace when I came back here, and it felt so good to know that I came back and I could do it again. But now my brain has started shifting and starting to think, what happens in 5 years? What am I gonna do? I don't wanna be a part of this, the way things are now. because
The hustling.
It's all a hustle now. And people are no longer looking at talent. They're looking at people because of what they look like.
Okay.
And that for me is a problem, especially when, you know, my gig, I do hosting. I do DJing, but I do hosting, and more people are getting booked because, you know, they're Instagram model or this and that. And to me, it's silliness. So I don't want to bank with the way the future is moving with things on how my life is going to be lived. I don't want to wait till they tell me I've expired. I want to take a preemptive step. So right now, as it is, I'm still gonna stay on radio as long as nobody else has a problem. I have no problem. But I've also started formulating options that will allow me to still affect radio if anything is said different.
So you're still at Fame?
Yeah,
Even
definitely.
now? And will continue at Fame?
As long as they allow me to, I'll be there.
But aren't you doing really, really well in the morning right now on Fame?
As far as I know, I don't really check numbers. I don't do that. I find it to be too much pressure. And so I just go in there and I do my job because, like I said, for me, that's what I love. I love radio.
Oh yeah, you fit radio.
Right, I love it. So no matter what, I'm always gonna be on radio. So even if I left where I am tomorrow, I'm happy because I love working with people like Kurt Riley. We have a great librarian, Captain Colin Hines. He's also on air, and he's one of the most amazing DJs with his knowledge of music, but he also handles the music for Fame. You have Arif Cooper. We just got DJ Nardi, Venom, and Kevin, and WizKid. We have so many really great talented people on Fame. So I like being a part of it, but like I said, radio is something that is based on whoever's in charge at the time. So you never know who has what in mind, so you just have to be sure.
All right, so can we talk a little bit about your American roots?
Yeah.
Were you brought up as a Jamaican, or an American?
I think I was brought up in between. And the reason I say
The more
that...
Jamaican.
Well, the reason I say that is my parents got divorced when I was young.
Yeah.
So it was mainly my mom. And she worked 2 jobs. So it's not like she was there all the time. Most of the time I was kind of left to kind of do things on my own. You know, I had my sister, but even though she's older, it's still kind of like I was the older sister in a lot of ways. She might fight me on that, but it's true. So I didn't really have it where I was always surrounded by things, but I did have my family up the street, my grandma, my cousins, who that would be my dosage of serious JA. The wedding receptions, the birthday parties, and those things, that would be that. But I think I've been in between because I grew up in the inner city, my whole family's Jamaican, and the school I went to was predominantly white. So
So were you not conflicted about
Very.
whether you were Jamaican or
Very.
American?
I've always been conflicted. I was conflicted until the first day I landed in Jamaica as an adult. That was the day when I was like, why does this feel like I just landed home? And 1 month later, I moved back. I moved here, not moved back, I moved here.
And you fell in love with Jamaica.
I'm still in love with it.
And stayed and Zip.
Yeah.
And you were very successful at Zip.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you were...
I think too successful.
You-
Right.
What was it?
I played Bad Word. It was like the 3rd time I did it or something like that. But this time they decided that it was gonna be an indefinite suspension.
Oh yeah, you started out with Hot 102, right?
And I even knew at that time. I even knew at that time that that was one of these kind of deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I knew that if I was
So
here,
it was Fame who pulled you away from Hot.
They sure did. Fiona and Francois. I love Fiona and Francois. Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, then you blew up the morning again.
Yeah, and people said I couldn't do it again.
Yeah. Do you have enemies in Jamaica? In
I have people that don't like me, but to have an enemy, I think you also have to have equal want to do something to them. I don't have anybody like that.
Okay. Because there was this issue with Aishano. She was here and she said something about you.
She don't want a hypocrite play from no DJ like Nikki Z in the song. You understand? What? I played that song.
And
I watched it because you kept on asking her, and she said, anything they say about Aishana, Nikki Z is 10 times worse. And you kept saying, in what aspect? Anything they say.
Yes.
But what do you mean? Anything they say.
and you guys were friends, weren't you?
Yes and no.
We're supposed to have been friends.
Really and truly, the dynamic of that whole relationship was I was close to Footer. And you know, when men hang out, by default, they'll be like, well, you're a girl, she's a girl, you guys hang, you know. And you know, for me, when I looked at Aishana, and even when I look at her now, I see her as a young girl. So even then, I saw her as a young girl trying to find her way. So when that song came out, I still didn't get mad with her, because to me, she's a young artist trying to figure out who she's supposed to be in this business and where she's going. So she might have thought things in the business were gonna be this way, and it'll be this easy to do this if you do that, and now she's just learning that it ain't like that. So that's why nobody ever hears me respond to anything that people throw at me. They were throwing the whole diva thing at me, and I wasn't gonna respond to that either. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why I dropped that, because it's silly.
Why you drop?
Because I don't want to be involved in that. It's silliness.
This diva thing. Who is the diva thing?
It is so silly, and it makes no sense. I mean, if you're arguing over that, what other petty stuff do you argue about?
Is it any different in hip hop? The quote unquote cat fights?
I think more over there, it's because it's wider space. There's more room for everybody. Jamaica is more like this, so there's not as much room if you're only marketing to the island. So there's not that much room. So people kind of start doing this because they feel like nobody else can get ahead if they're getting ahead, or, you know, so that's what's happening now. It happens with artists, male and females. It's just more prominent with women because we don't have as many opportunities, and it's a lot harder for us to get through the opportunities because a lot of times the people who are holding the reins of our opportunity is a man who thinks mainly with his man parts.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't get that. So unless you're flirting back with them and calming their nice ego, a lot of times you'll get looked over, you'll get pushed aside. And that's happened to me many times. That's the whole reason I ended up moving to Jamaica. I was doing everything. I was doing production work for Wendy Williams' show. I did the midday show. I found out I increased the ratings. I doubled the ratings, but I still couldn't get, yes, you're gonna get the job. I kept on getting 5 million runarounds. By the same time, you wanna call me and tell me how beautiful a picture I posted was.
What are you concerned about most?
Kids, baby girls, especially the baby girls. And if people don't start paying attention to the kids and stop clowning around, all they're doing, politicians, I have a hard time with them. I love some of them, big up to some of them, but I have a hard time because I don't understand their philosophy of thinking. Everything starts with the kids. If we don't fix the kids, they're gonna grow up to be just as angry as the angry adults we have now. Where are the community centers? Where are the after-school programs? Where is the funding to help for things like this? Where are these things? We have a ministry of youth. What is happening with it? Yeah, you're fixing the latrines, but what is happening when these kids get off of school and a lot of them might live in a house where their parents have to work so heavy that they don't have that person around? I know what that feels like. You know, I understand that the parent have to work, but as a kid, you need somebody to guide you. Because if I had that, I wouldn't have made so many mistakes that I made throughout my life. I don't regret it, because I think they made me who I am, but not everybody can be afforded the opportunities I got to get out of that feeling that I was having.
That you're talking about relationships.
Yeah, I'm bad with that.
You're bad with that.
I'm dysfunctional.
You've had a few? You've had a few?
Oh, I've had a bunch of relationships. What? I'm a serial dater.
Yeah.
And a serial leaver, too.
So what's your status right now?
Yeah, this year, I think I finally became an adult.
Oh.
Honestly, that's the only way I can say it. I think I finally became an adult. And I just said, I'm tired. So it's either gonna be all or nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where you are.
That's where I am.
That's the situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've dated enough. And the games that come with dating, and even more now than before because of social media, people are trying to have relationships that can't be real. You know.
Violence against women in Jamaica.
I wish they would try that over here.
Exploding.
It needs to help. It needs to be helped. And that's why I say the young girls need to be helped. They need to be nurtured from early. They need to know that certain types of touches are not appropriate. I was in an area and I had a little boy do the tongue motion thing to me. You know, where you put your fingers like this? The little boy was about 4 or 5 years old. And I pulled him and I said, "Who taught you that?" He said his aunt did. Why when I go to dances or children's party, is it okay to watch children skinning out and broken wine and people are looking at it like it's cool? Like it seems like there's just been something broken down so bad where people keep rationalizing things that are wrong. Like just like the Honorable Minister said the thing about dancehall and everybody's jumping down his throat. He's partially right. Because if every time we're going out and we're seeing this is how you treat a female, it's like you're programming people's mind. So no, it is not the only reasoning, absolutely not. but it is an issue. Why every time I scroll through my phone and I'm watching dancehall, is it requiring a girl to scratch her vagina on the ground? I don't get it. It's a balance. Yes, you can do that. But balance, why is it now overriding all the other great dances that we have and the other traditional dances that we have? Why does the raunch now override everything positive?
What gives you happy moments, right?
Happy moments. Raise a P. Is that a happy moment? What gives me happy moments? Beach. The beach. Working radio when I'm on air, it's like nothing else is there. I'm just in this whole little world by myself. And the beach, those two things. And my son, of course. But he's grown now, so he doesn't even need me now. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 18.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What is he doing?
Going to school. He's going to school. He's going to be starting college in Florida. So I'm very excited.
And mommy will be a big executive.
That's what I told him. I said, when I finally get to stop paying your bills, I'm making even more money. And he's like, what? So you can't? No, you're good. You're paid for. I'm done with you. I'm done with you.
So he's staying with your mom, I take it?
My mom passed away right before I moved back here.
Oh, really?
That was one
of
of
I met her when I met her in
right.
in Connecticut.
Yeah, you did.
But somehow I didn't that passed.
My mom had no. It's okay. My mom had melanoma cancer. So that was another added reason when I moved back to the U.S. because I said maybe I do need to be a little closer. We don't have that. We didn't have that mother-daughter always parring thing that most daughters wish for, and that's because she had to work so hard. So when she came home, she was tired. She's exhausted. So watching her be sick and knowing that this is a woman that is so used to take care of herself all the time, and even when you try to help her, she doesn't want you to help her. You know what I mean? So it's one of the most horrible things people can go through. So when you talk about cancer, anybody who's ever dealt with anybody who's had cancer and had to live through the years of what it does to somebody, it is one of the most horrible things ever. So when she died,
Can I understand?
That was different. When she died, it felt weird being in Hartford, Connecticut, because it just didn't feel right. Everything in Hartford was my mom. She gave birth to me there. I grew up there, and that's what I know. So when she died, I got even more depressed. I have a job. I have a good job. I have a car, but I was not happy. When she died, we didn't have the relationship I wanted. So she died with that. And so I just had to be somewhere where I was at peace. And that's why I came back here.
I'm so sorry, my dear.
It's okay.
Who takes care of your son now?
Oh, well, right now, because he's going to school in Florida, he stays with his grandparents on his father's side. So he's staying over there until he gets onto the school campus, and then he's going to be a full-fledged college kid. So, yeah, I'm happy about that.
Let's talk about...
happy things, please.
Happier things, yes. When do you start this new job?
I start now. I started when they made me the offer. When they made me the offer, I already went into action. Right now. I'm on it now, and I've been calling a lot of the producers and the artists and letting them know about the changeover because, because there are changes now, some people were worried. They didn't know what was happening. You know what I mean? They were used to a familiar name and a familiar face, and now they're like, okay, well, if that's not there, then how am I going to get this done? So I started reaching out to all the producers and calling them up and letting them know, I'm taking over this position, and you can trust me because I'm going to make sure. I don't believe in losing. I do not believe in losing it. Anybody who's been around me knows that. Like, the worst thing is if you put me in a position that's gonna make me do less work than I know I can do. That is the worst thing you can do to me. So by giving me this job, I think Hapelos realized that this is the kind of person I am, and he knew that this is what I would do. And he gave me a gift that I will be forever grateful for.
We are grateful to have you, Nikki Z.
Thank
We're looking forward to you, and we're rooting for you.
Yes.
We're cheering you on, and we believe you will achieve. Yeah. You will be. You're a winner, and you will win in this. Nikki.
I love
so
you.
Good, so good, so good, sweetie.
Sorry for crying.
Oh, no, come on. It's great to have you. I'm a big fan anyway.
Thank you.
So, it's great to have you right here on our stage, and we can only wish you all the best in the world.
Thank you. Follow me at Nikki Z Official. No more diva. No more diva.
All right, there you have her, Nikki Z, right there on stage, and I'm tempted to say diva, but she says no more diva.
You can say queen, though.
All right.
or Madam VP.
Madam VP.
Yes.
All right, so Madam VP Nikki Z on our show. Stay with us, still to come. The Don Gaga, right here on stage.
What?
Now jump out like no punk, and me still like a Charlie Boom. Long time me bust my man and